All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the EdTech 30 webinar. Let me just get our slides set up here, and then we will be ready to get started. All right, here. All right, bear with me for just a second. Thanks for joining us. If you are not familiar, my name is Sarah Spaniel. I'm the instructional technologist for Wesleyan, and also Steph Gaudet is joining us. She is the instructional designer, and we are here to talk with you about Respondus LockDown Browser. Let me pull up my, ah, sorry. Okay, so can you just put a thumbs up in the chat if you can see the slides for me? Awesome. Okay, cool. So Steph is going to be monitoring the chat and the Q&A while we do a brief presentation. Once we do that, we'll have some time for questions at the end. So if you have any, you can go ahead and put them in the chat, and then we'll get to them either during the presentation or we'll address them after. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started as soon as I can find my notes. One second. Okay. All right, so by the end of today, you should feel comfortable doing four things with Respondus. First, you should be able to enable Respondus Lockdown Browser correctly inside of Canvas. Second, you should be able to create a short practice quiz for students to help them with their setup before an exam. Third, you should be able to avoid the common mistakes that often lead to difficulty for students taking the quiz. And last, you should be able to troubleshoot the most frequent access issues that you have during an exam window. This is designed for efficiency and for it to be practical, so something you could add into your class right now. So hopefully, if you are interested in using this platform, you'll be ready to do so by the end of today's webinar. Okay, so real quick, what does it do? Respondus Lockdown Browser is a custom testing browser that students use to take Canvas quizzes, and it gives you a more controlled testing environment. When students launch a quiz using the Lockdown browser, they aren't able to open any additional tabs, switch applications, copy content, or print during the assessment. This helps to create a testing experience that's closer to an in-person exam setting. It's important to remember that Lockdown Browser works best as part of a broader assessment strategy. And so it really supports testing conditions, but it is not meant to replace thoughtful assessment design. So make sure that you're using it appropriately for your assessments. So when we take a look at how it's used, there are a couple types of assessments that it works for better than others. For example, it's commonly used for in-class exams, closed resource quizzes, knowledge checks, or situations where you want students focused on a single testing environment. It tends to be less useful for open resource assessments, for project-based work, or for essays. So many faculty choose to use it selectively rather than for every single assessment in your course. One of the goals of today's session is to simplify the setup process for you so that you have a reliable sequence you can use to put in quizzes for Respondus. So here's the order that we have found that works best. First is to create your quiz in Canvas. It does not matter if it's a new quiz or classic quiz, and we'll talk a little bit about those differences, but either one would work. Second is to publish the quiz. Your quiz needs to be published in order for you to be able to run it through Respondus. Third, you should enable Lockdown Browser from the course navigation menu, and we're going to take a look at each of these steps. Fourth, you'll want to set your availability dates for the quiz. And then finally, and this step is the most important for preventing problems, you want to create a short practice quiz for students. Most exam day issues are going to happen either publishing or when the practice quiz gets skipped. So those are most likely the culprits to any problems that you may have with implementing Respondus Lockdown Browser. Once you create your quiz, you're going to enable Lockdown Browser from the Lockdown Browser link in your Canvas course. So if this is not showing, you'll want to go to your settings and then go to your navigation to add it to your navigation pane. We can go through that after the presentation and I can show you exactly how to do that. But once you're in, you'll see all of the quizzes that you currently have available in your course. And you'll want to select the quiz you want to use, choose settings, and then require Lockdown Browser for that quiz. This step connects Respondus directly to your Canvas assessment. And there are a few other options, but we'll take a look at those specifically after the presentation. So when we think about the type of quiz, does it matter? It does not matter in terms of offering a quiz with Respondus, but there are slightly different experiences, and so it is important to know the difference between the two. So a new quiz is the one with the solid rocket, and the key for new quizzes is that for students to use Respondus, they have to use a standard browser first to log into Canvas, just like they normally would. Then they go to the quiz, and then they click Take Quiz. And once they click that Take Quiz button in your Canvas course, the browser is going to then prompt them to either open or download Lockdown Browser automatically. If you're using classic quizzes, which is the outlined rocket, the process is slightly different. First, you'll have to have Lockdown Browser already downloaded, and you'll want to launch Lockdown Browser first. Once you're in Lockdown Browser, then you navigate to Canvas, and then you open the quiz. So it's a small difference, but it's an important distinction because it can really make a difference the order and to whether it's effectively working or not. If there's one thing that I would recommend doing after today's session, it's creating a Respondus practice quiz for your students. This single step prevents most exam day problems. A practice quiz is going to allow your students to confirm that their device works, that the browser has been installed correctly, and that they understand how to launch it for the real quiz before their test window opens. So it gives them a chance to test out all of the things before it actually has, before they have any stakes to it. It also can help identify compatibility issues early instead of during that high stakes assessment. A practice quiz can be very simple. Usually just one or two short questions is enough. I would recommend allowing unlimited attempts and leaving the quiz available for the entire semester so that students can come back to it if they need to. It should use the same Lockdown Browser requirement as your actual exam so that students are testing the real setup. So whatever settings you use for your exam, make sure that you use the same settings for your practice quiz. Many instructors might title this quiz something like Respondus Practice Check so that students can easily recognize it. One of the most common issues that faculty encounter isn't actually related to Respondus itself. It's actually that the students can't see the quiz in Canvas. And so this usually happens when either the quiz isn't published, the module isn't published, or the availability dates haven't opened yet. So those three settings right away are something you should confirm before you begin your test to get rid of most of the problems that instructors have. If students aren't able to see the quiz, then Respondus can't launch it. Publishing is always the first thing to check. And before you open your exam window, it helps to do a quick publishing check just to make sure that the quiz itself is also published. So the checklist would be make sure the quiz is published, make sure the module item is visible, confirm that your availability dates are correct, and make sure that the practice quiz can open. One of the easiest ways to confirm that everything is working is to open your student view and navigate to the quiz yourself. Even with strong preparation, sometimes students run into issues launching Lockdown Browser, and the most common ones are very straightforward. So sometimes it has to do with the browser not being installed yet. Sometimes that's another application is open and Respondus is asking the student to close it. Many students think they can just have separate windows or separate tabs open, and that is not the case. You have to have everything completely shut down so that Respondus is the only thing open. Sometimes students try to launch the quiz from the mobile app instead of Lockdown Browser, and occasionally the issue is device compatibility. Most of these situations, the good news is that they can be resolved quickly, usually in under 2 minutes. So here's a simple flow chart that we can use to, in the moment, try to troubleshoot if you're having an issue with Respondus. Really, it all starts with one question, which is asking the student, did the practice quiz work earlier? And so if they answer yes to that, then they need to restart the device. That usually will solve the problem. Um, if it did not work earlier, then they need to reinstall Lockdown Browser. Once they've done one of those two steps, check again. If it's working now, then they're able to start their quiz. If it doesn't work, then it might be the device type. Chromebook and iPad, while they do work with Respondus, sometimes you have to have settings enabled specifically to allow those to work for your quiz. And so that would be something to confirm on the instructor end. If it's still not working, then we strongly would suggest having an alternate attempt window or to have an alternate way that they can complete the quiz either on paper or, like I said, having that additional attempt window for them to take it at another time once the technology is resolved. Again, this is a major, you can prevent the majority of headaches with this if you simply offer a practice quiz early enough in advance that students have a chance to get all of the kinks worked out on the technical side. Finally, just a few quick tips. So some instructors find it helpful to have a short statement in their syllabus that explains Respondus Lockdown Browser and why it's being used for their exams. This can help students prepare in advance and it encourages them to complete that practice quiz early in the semester. Even a short note can help reduce confusion. So here's an example that you might include, something along the lines of, this course uses Respondus Lockdown Browser for select exams. Students must complete the practice quiz before the first exam to ensure the browser is fully functional. So there are lots of opportunities if you're planning to use Respondus um, and you want some additional support. So we've got lots of different options here. So first, if you want someone to review your setup before your exam window opens, Thorpe Center is happy to help. Sometimes a quick check can just help prevent last minute troubleshooting later. And so we've got several options, including one-on-one meetings with Steph or I. You can also drop in during our Canvas pop-ups. We have our learning lab for Respondus, which is happening tomorrow from 12 to 2 in the Thorpe Center. You can just feel free to drop in and play around with it, try it out for some demos if you'd like. Just get a feel for what it's like without having the high stakes of needing to use it immediately for a class. If you prefer to navigate on your own, we also have a resource guide on our website, on the Thorpe website, and Respondus itself has excellent guides and video tutorials available as well. And I'm going to show you where you can access those. So that's the main presentation for today. I want to thank you for taking the time to join this session, and hopefully this workflow will make using Respondus a little bit easier. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and just open up a test course in Canvas, and we can take any questions that you might have and walk through the steps of building it in so you can see it live. Alrighty. Let me see here. All right, can we see the Canvas screen? I see Bill has a question. Bill, sorry, there you go. Now you should be able to talk.
I was just wondering, can you hear me?
Yes,
I was just wondering if you're going to show us how the students are going to do it on their end.
sure. So when the students first go into a quiz, let me see if I have one set up here. Um, so first, in this demo course, we don't have Respondus in the menu, so let me show you how to do that really quick. So I went into settings and navigation, and then Respondus is going to be one of these tabs that you can drag up to the top. So here it is, Lockdown Browser. So we'll enable that. So now you'll see it there. Make sure, as always with navigation, you have to scroll all the way to the end to save. And so now we can see it over here, Lockdown Browser. When I open that up, this is where I assign a quiz to for the students. So for example, I have this is online learning right for me is currently required. We could also do one of the course feedback surveys, for instance. So click on setting. If I say required, then it gives me a couple options. I can either put in a password or leave that blank. I can lock students into the browser until they're done. So that what that does is it prevents students from, leaving the exam. Um, you can also, if you don't check that box, you can get a report of who left early and came back. Um, if you want to allow an external website to be accessible, you can do that as well. It does not allow you to pull in external programs at this time, only web addresses. So if you're using a website specifically that you want them to use, you can do that. But if you're using like SPSS or a program that's installed, that is not an option at this time. You can also add a calculator or enable printing. Once you have whatever settings you want to use, you would just click Save and Close, and then that's going to add it. So we come back over to here to quizzes, and Bill, I'm just going to get the, I'm going to put in the dates so you can see on the student side what it looks like. So you can see now that it's added this requires lockdown browser to the name of the test. That lets them know that they'll have to do that. Let me just open this and check the dates really quick to make sure we'll be able to see it in student view. And yeah, this one has no specific due date, so it should be viewable. So let me go ahead then and hold on, my Zoom menu is in the way. We'll view this as a student. Oh, the module. See, okay, so here's a good troubleshooting tip. So I cannot, as a student, see the quiz because the module itself, even though the quiz is published, the module is not. So I need to go back. I'm going to leave student view, go back and publish that module. So it must be in this one down here. And now I will go find that quiz. Here we are. And we'll go back into student view here. Excuse me. Okay, so our Respondus quiz is where did it go? Hold on one second. Published, okay.
The problem is that you've got the module requirements on it.
Yep, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
I know.
Yeah, okay. So I think if I just move that to the top, excuse me, it'll you'll be able to see it. Let's try this again. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's our quiz. So we're in student view now. So this is what a student would see. They'd see the quiz. Again, because this is a new quiz, they want to come into Canvas just the way they would normally do from whatever browser they're using. and then go into their quiz. When they click on it, this is where it's going to prompt them. As soon as they click to start, it's going to ask them to open Respondus browser. So it should automatically do a pop-up for them to download it if they don't already have it. Um, Sometimes it doesn't if they've got a pop-up blocker or whatever, but it's got the link here so you can download it. I think it's been a while since I've done it, so I will probably need to download it. So just give me a second here. Every once in a while, even if you've downloaded it once, it just sometimes like, you have to re-download it every so often. So just again, this is another reason why having the practice quiz is really useful. Okay, English. Accept. So you can see kind of these are the steps that the students would be going through. Also, they can always go to IT and ask for help with this piece of it if they're having any trouble. IT will be able to help troubleshoot that piece of it for them. Okay, so I have the browser. So now I believe I should be able to just refresh this page and let's see. I've got a lot of tabs open, so let's see what it tells me. Launch Respondus browser. Okay, so I'm opening. Oh no, sorry, ignore that. That's a whole different thing. Okay, so I'm gonna change my share settings real quick so you can see my whole screen because I want to show you what the icon looks like. Um, So Lockdown Browser is this icon over here in the middle left that has the padlock with the blue and yellow. Um, you might also see this Respondus 4 depending on if you are doing quiz building. Mostly we don't really use that. Lockdown Browser is really the one that gets the most use. So we open this, it should do. See, now I can share the. So now we've got this lockdown browser and it's telling me, hey, you've got things that are open that need to close. So I'm going to close that application. And now it's opening. I'm going to have to sign in. So these are all the steps that, again, you want to build this into the time you allot for students at the beginning, especially if you haven't had them do a practice quiz yet. If they've done a practice quiz, this process should be fairly straightforward. Do my push notification, all the steps. Okay. And now we should be good to go. Okay, so now what it's done is it's taken me back to Canvas, and now I need to go back into the course. So if I'm going into the test course, when I go now to that quiz, I should be able to get, I'm gonna go back into student view. I should be able to take the quiz now that I'm in the lockdown browser. And you can see on my screen, like I have no other way to like get out of this without leaving the browser, which it will notify you as an instructor. Okay. So here's the quiz.
Bill, you still there? I think we lost Sarah.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I think we lost her. So I don't know if she'll come.
Okay,
She's gone.
he's gone.
Look, she gone. So we'll see if she
So
comes back.
if we're gonna do a test quiz, we should just maybe come over and you can help me with it.
Yeah,
Make sure.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I tried to do it in the fall. And the biggest, I had like 5 students out of my 15 that couldn't download it.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that, do the practice. And I think that they should be able to go to IT and figure that out. So,
I'm back. It kicked me out.
I know, I was like, we lost her. She gone.
Yeah. Good example of how the browser works. It
Yeah.
just puts everything, it closes everything down.
Yeah, it closed you down.
Yeah.
Bill was asking if he could come over and have us help him set it up, obviously.
Absolutely.
And that I think the issue, you definitely want to have the students can go get it fixed through IT if it's an issue with their with their device or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, you should be able to use it, and they should be able to, figure it out. But I'll shut up and let Sarah help you.
No, yeah, that's it. Sorry about disappearing on you all. That was also a surprise to me. But that's kind of the thing that's nice about Respondus. It's working, right? It's locking out everything else. So basically what it did, as soon as I opened that browser, it kicked me out of the Zoom meeting. It closed my presentation slides that I had up. I could not leave the quiz until I submitted it. So that's the other thing. That was from clicking that button in the settings. And so it is an effective tool if you want to keep them kind of locked into that space. And so hopefully if you're interested in using it, you want to stop by tomorrow to the Thorpe Center from 12 to 2. We just open hours, come in, we can take a look. Also, if tomorrow doesn't work or if you just want to look at it another time, we're happy to meet with you. You can just schedule a meeting with Steph or I, or just shoot us an email and we will get working on it. I know that health science uses it a lot, so you can also talk to your colleagues in health science and nursing. But otherwise, yeah, we're here to help troubleshoot. Any other questions? I know that we are slightly over.
Lisa said it works. That's great.
All right.
Well, thank you very much,
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Yep. We'll do.